Worth. How many of you guys know that Fort Worth actually has 3 names? Funk, 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 me up. I felt good. Probably noticed. Had to get rid of the beard, put on the mask. Rona got my beard.
Peekaboo! Peekaboo!
I am tripping though. I can always grow it back. Some of y'all can't even grow a beard. Some of y'all don't even connect, so I'm not tripping.
Listen. My shorty told me if my beard don't connect, we can't connect, bro.
But, yeah. Smooth as a baby's behind. Grub Club. Hopefully everything's well on your end. Still trying to keep the party rocking. This time I decided to go west of the Metroplex and check out a place I've been dying to try out. I've been hearing nothing but good things. They started off as a small little food truck and then it kind of exploded to this major operation in downtown Fort Worth near Magnolia. So this is my first time trying it. This is Heim barbecue. It means brisket, pork. Usually I get the pulled pork and ribs, but this time I decided to get the burnt ends because that's what everybody always talks about. Before
and Hulk. Smash.
a Hulk smash on this. Thinking about Fort Worth, how many of you guys know that Fort Worth actually has 3 names? No? Alright. Well, here's a little bit about what I'm eating, and we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, you know what time it is, baby. Slow-mo. See that steam coming off them beans? Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice and warm up in my belly. What we got here, some ribs, alright, some pork ribs, ready to go down. Some glistening meat morsels. Those babies are burnt ends. Definitely can't wait to try those. And last but not least, some brisket to go along with the 2-meat plate, baby. One hit a quitter. Oh, almost forgot. Mac and cheese, jalapeno mac and cheese to be precise. Oh yeah, this is gonna be nice. Oh yeah, look at that, glistening like a meaty disco ball. You know what I like. You know what I like.
Alright. First things first, I'm going for these ribs. Actually, I'm going to go for this one. Hold this up. Okay. Now, real Texas barbecue to me doesn't need sauce, but I'm always curious what people's sauce tastes like, so I gotta try it.
I got a bone to pick with you.
Got a bone. That's not pretty. Mess around and choke. Survive the coronavirus and die from a rib bone. How crazy would that be? That's good. Nice, tender. Perfect blend of seasoning. Not too salty. I hate when it's salty.
Hey.
Hate. And for me, when I gotta do the jalapenos. Gotta do the jalapenos. Gotta have a little spice in my life.
Some like it hot, some like it hot.
Okay, so far so good. I can do that. All right, true test. The brisket. Now, brisket should have a certain amount of perfect marbling and whatnot. It's a nice little thick slab. I love it when it melts in your mouth. Okay. Nah, I did have to drive home after buying this, so I'm sure it's way better when it's fresh, but it's good. It's good. Probably definitely better than in Fort Worth. Well, I got to wash my dishes, so I didn't really have much to use for spoons and whatnot. It's the mac and cheese. I don't know if you can see it. Mac and cheese got jalapeno on it too. Okay. You know what this is missing? And y'all all have your weird quirks, so I don't want to hear it. But if this had a little bit of sugar in it, primo. A little sweet, a little spicy.
Fix me some of that dick gravy.
You could drink that, Peanut. We out of here. Look at all that sugar. Just thinking about drinking that stuff makes my teeth hurt. That's good, girl. Talk about it.
Okay. I can do. And I think the beans also have jalapeno. Okay. Probably should have went the potato salad, but can't really show you that without spilling it. But there you go. All right. Now, make this for the main event. Don don don. My precious. Oh yeah. I don't. What is a burnt end? Holy shit. Okay.
Now I had the time of my life. No, I've never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth.
That's what that is right there.
And I owe it all to you.
Cause I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you.
Go in. Holy crap, that's good. I'm a fan. I am definitely a fan. Well, what have you guys been up to for this last 2-month vacation from reality? See, a lot of you guys are creating, being artistic, some making videos like I am.
Next question.
I have a question for Dean Zamero. Which Caribbean father is more likely to win in a fight? The dad from Jamaica or the dad from DR?
That's a tricky question because my dad would just pull up with a machete.
Hi guys, welcome to Lunchtime Doodles presented by Mesquite Arts Council. I'm your instructor, Erica Guajardo, and this is my guest, Uni the Unicorn. Today,
So good. Getting creative. You learn a new language. Stuck at home with kids.
See, this is what I mean. This is when I saw. No, wait a minute. Get out of here. Hey, when is your school opening up? Go on back. Okay, listen. I'm on the phone. I'm on the video.
Is it TikTok?
No, it ain't. No,
Is it TikTok?
No, it is not.
Wait, renegade! No!
I ain't been doing too much, just working. People watching. These burnt ends are really, really good. I don't even have anything to compare them to. Wow. I'm amazed. Oh, where'd that come from? I think that's gonna fall. That was really good. Alright. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I'm gonna sleep really good tonight. Alright. Yeah, a little bit of H2O to wash this down.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Here's to all you guys. A salute to health. H2O. Alright. So what were we talking about? So, of course, one of the most known nicknames of Fort Worth is, come on, you know what it is, say it with me.
Moo, I'm mooey.
Cowtown. From the 1860s to 1870s, Fort Worth was the king of cattle. Alright, and this also gave birth to a little place called Hell's Half Acre, which was a gambling, casino, brothel, throwdown, Old West style entertainment district.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
By the Coliseum, by the Fort Worth Coliseum, and I think there may be a plaque there in remembrance of this place. Directly after the Civil War, Texas economy, just like all the other regions of the South, was shit. Nobody was making money, everybody was broke. And there were cattle up north that were just grazing, and cowboys would only get $1 to $3 per head of cattle in Texas. But for whatever reason, they were getting like $40 a head up north in northern states. So a new industry was born. Cowboys came far and wide to get in on the new cattle boom.
25 villains on the Texas plain. 25 villains with skills of pain. 25 villains living life on the run. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. It's the posse. Shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up.
So Fort Worth actually became the premier spot to get litty, get loose, get jiggy, whatever you want to say. So before they went on this long hike up the Chisholm Trail, Fort Worth was the last stop of civilization where they can have a little fun, get their beak wet, and maybe some other things moist. I know it's a trigger word, moist.
My favorite show is America's Most Wanted.
You gotta respect athleticisms. Connor Moist Gregor, Connor Moist David, Floyd Moist Weather. Why, they're all at the top of their classes.
They're all driving Moisteratis, that's all I know.
Maybe even a Rolls Moist, or maybe even a Moist Sadie's Benz.
But they would stop there, have a good time, and then they would go on this long hike up the Chisholm Trail all the way up to Kansas. And once they got up there and got paid, Fort Worth was the very first place that they would come to spend all their money, and so which kind of helped boom the city. So in a way, you can kind of call Fort Worth a bit of a sitting city. So I think it was around 1876 when Pacific Railroad and a couple other railroad companies came in, and this kind of helped push the cattle industry even further into making a lot more dough. Because all these railroad systems were able to do more so than the cowboys could do on horseback. The industry bloomed, and Fort Worth actually became a certified force to be reckoned with. And also around 1917, after World War II, Fort Worth actually became the biggest horse and mule market in the world at the time. And this kind of gave rise to also the stockyards. And people started coming out of here in droves. Business was booming. Everybody was getting paid. So it started off as a small, measly pioneer town of about 300, and easily over a period of time, small period of time, had a population of 3,000. Even now, Fort Worth is probably the most, I think it's the 16th most populous city in the U.S. And as far as Texas, number 5th. They still do the cattle drives, if I'm not mistaken, twice a day down Commerce Street, which used to be called Rusk, R-U-S, which is where they used to bring the cattle in. But that's why they call it Cow Town. All right. What's more ribs? Get that all down to the bone. Sometimes people ask, if you could go back in time, what period of time would you go into? My answer usually is the same. I'm black. I ain't going back in time.
It's that runway. They find his body floating in front of that picture above an arm.
Hell, it's 2020 and they still killing folks just for jogging down the street or eating ice cream in your own apartment. I ain't going back in time. Nope. Anyway, number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
Panther City. Alright, so for the second one, this one all started with a beef. I wish it was more crazy off the wall story. It's really not. Basically this, a guy named Robert Coward, I guess he was a lawyer, wrote a column in one of the Dallas newspapers and basically said he was visiting Fort Worth and no one seemed to notice that there was a sleeping large panther laying in the middle of the street, undeterred by anything. And basically saying that ain't nothing, Fort Worth don't pop off like that. Dallas got it going on. Fort Worth ain't doing nothing. To the fact that these large animals that generally live out in the wilderness are just hanging out in the middle of the street. Instead of doing anything, Fort Worth actually liked the idea of a panther being in the street.
He lives.
So they went with it. They made it their own. So from there, they started naming all their saloons Panther City or Panther this. Even later on in years, Pascal High School actually made their mascot Panther. The cops, the police department to this day actually have a panther on their badge. And that's pretty much it. So 150 years ago, Dallas was beefing with Fort Worth.
Beef is not always a bad thing.
Okay, how is a beef a good thing? Because I don't want to go over like bad history with you, but you were shot 9 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't good.
And he basically said, hey, your town's whack. Got large animals laying in the middle of the street. What do you think about that? And Fort Worth responded, we like it. And so they kept it. And that's what it is. Very silly if you think about it. But one thing is pretty cool though. Well, it used to be cool. They used to have a museum there in Fort Worth where it was the first fire station, I believe, in Fort Worth. And you can kind of go in and they had like a timeline of the history of Fort Worth. Starting from the ancient Indians, the Caddo Indians that lived in that neighborhood or in the area, and so on and so on. And how it started off, Fort Worth started off as just a fort to fight off the Native Americans. So if you went there though, the first thing you would see, or one of the first things you would see, would be a panther sitting on top of a wall, basically sitting there like he's going to pounce at anybody who comes through that door.
These American women are known as cougars. They're over 40, financially stable, sexy, and they confess a taste for men who are much younger than they are.
That was one of the first things I remember when I visited the museum. But unfortunately, the museum is no longer there. Now, And I used to praise Fort Worth. I used to love Fort Worth because they would always maintain their historical buildings. Like Dallas, as soon as the building goes out of business, boom, knock it down, make something new. Hence why we have Uptown. But Fort Worth used to, idolize keeping their historical aspects and their architecture and history and whatnot all enclosed for people to enjoy and to remember. But Dallas does not do that. That's one thing I don't like about Dallas. But Fort Worth, for the most part, does that, except for in this one instance. Now the building is still there, so that's cool. So from the outside, you can see the first fire station that existed in Fort Worth. But unfortunately, inside, no longer has that museum. No longer there. Now it's a yoga studio.
This is a great way to stretch.
Yeah.
You see? You could do this with your partner at home. Let's ride this energy out.
Yeah.
Yes, this fire has just started. And
Alright, let's get some more food in me. I'm kind of scared to eat the last one. This is like the best thing on the menu, hands down. I heard about it, people told me about it, but I would drive a few miles just to pop one of these in my mouth. Mm-hmm. Man. Alright, for the third and final installment. Alright. Alright, so last but not least, my personal favorite name to call Fort Worth, Funky Town. Now, when most people think about the music scene in Dallas-Fort Worth area, live music from back in the day, sometimes I always think about Deep Ellum, and it has a rich history. But Fort Worth actually had a past too with music. You had bluesmen from way back when, you had hip-hop groups throughout the years and whatnot. But in the 1980s, Fort Worth had a big boom with a bunch of R&B, jazz, saxophonists, whatnot that came out there and performed. And around that same time, that's when this song came out. Alright, so people who've been around long enough to remember, Fort Worth back in the day, it looks nothing like the Fort Worth now. Downtown Fort Worth is full of like pawn shops, old cheap bars and pubs. And around that time, they started saying like, "Hey, let's keep this funky Fort Worth. This is where the music is. This is where the hip hop is." And then also another term that I don't think ever stuck was Party Fort Worth. Which doesn't even sound cool. Funky Fort Worth, where the funk kind of just rolls off your tongue.
And just when it hit me, somebody turned around and shouted, "Play that funky music, my boy. Play that funky music right here." So
The term Funky Fort Worth was first published in Texas Monthly probably around 1989. So the term has been around since then, right? With most of these in the circles of musicians and whatnot. These hip cats. And over time, just like most major cities, things change. Younger generation comes up and decides they want to do their own thing. And you can see it on a daily basis. Fort Worth is not what it used to be. Hence why we have a lot of, parts of Fort Worth that just kind of cater to that younger crowd who out there fist pumping.
I'm gonna fist bump till my thumb falls off. Fist bump like this, Louie.
And there was a time that Fort Worth was kind of going along the same directions as Denton or even Austin, where when Austin was like, "Yo, keep Austin weird, man." Funk, and funk is what they wanted. They wanted to be the exact polar opposite of Dallas. But like most things, everything comes to an end. Things change. And as you know, Fort Worth is building up. It's gentrifying in a lot of places. Fort Worth in the past, that used to be super laid back, super chill mode, you know, vibe was just on easy street, starting to dissipate. Gave birth to places like 7th Street, you know, and Magnolia, which actually Magnolia is still pretty chill. They're trying to hold on to their identity, but I can easily see them changing in that direction, getting overly sophisticated, where people who live in that neighborhood for generations probably won't be able to stay there much longer or shop in those areas.
I was gone for a bit, but it's now I'm alright. My neighbors was all black, but now they white. So the check cashing place turned into a bank. Elevator works and the stairs, they don't stink. The white people came and changed everything, but I am still your neighbor.
But I will say it is safer, and they do have some cool shops. Hence this place here, Heim Barbecue, which I'm gonna tell you, if you don't eat anything else on the menu, try these freaking burnt ends. They are what that is. Go there and tell me I'm lying. But anyway, I digress. That's pretty much it. The whole Funky Town came from the music industry, just trying to secure an identity opposite of Dallas. Once again, it's that beef between Dallas and Fort Worth. That friction actually creates a fire within the city to do some things, to make changes and whatnot.
What's beef? Beef is when you need 2 cats to go to sleep. Beef is when your moms ain't safe up in the streets. Beef is when I see you, guaranteed to be in ICU.
So that's the 3 names: Cowtown, Panther City, and the Funk. And depending on how old you are or what part of the Metroplex you're from is what you call it. I always call Fort Worth Funky Town, and forever we'll call it Funky Town. One, because it rolls off the tongue. Funk, 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 yeah. So that's just me. But anyway, hope you enjoyed my TED Talk. Go support your local businesses if you can. There's a lot of people out there struggling. Things are starting to slowly open back up, but they still need your help if possible, just in case. You know, we never know what's going to happen in the near future. You know, especially with these murder hornets on the rise now. Isn't that crazy?
Killer hornets invading the U.S. and Canada. Asian giant hornets, also known as murder hornets, spotted in Washington state, and they prey on honeybees that pollinate much of our food.
My peoples, are you with me where you at? In the front, in the back, killer bees on attack.
Anyway, so hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff. Let me know what I'm doing right. Tell me definitely what I'm doing wrong, and I'll try to keep this thing going. And that's it. So, E-Main signing off. Peace, love, and grub. I'm out.